Hello, I am Marley Matlin. We are behind the scenes on The Magicians, Season 4, Episode 9.
And action.
Hi. Go to hell.
Wait, no, I'm coming in. So hit me or hear me out.
A really interesting dynamic to see, to like basically see Katie's feelings for Alice, and ends up punching her in the face.
Yeah. I mean, Alice did say, punch me in the face, but I'm staying.
Yeah.
And then you do punch me in the face.
Yeah.
So she kind of asked for it.
She definitely did. That's a good point. You really did
Alice
ask
takes
for
it.
Also, we've been kind of rooting for Katie and Alice to maybe have a little, I don't know, get together in some way. Have a little thing. But what was really cool is that afterwards, it's like, okay, great, now let's get down to business. And Katie knows that Alice is the smartest one in the room and is able to help her. And so I think then it becomes this really interesting team dynamic. And so Alice and Katie go to Zelda to convince her to support them in this mission to save people's lives, essentially.
What do you want? The nearest pipe junction box. Why would I ever, after Modesto? Because you want your daughter.
And I love Magana. She's so wonderful.
She's so great.
She's so great.
She's so talented and comes so prepared and passionate, and I love what she's done with that character. And action.
The Harriet that came to me was exaggerated. Today we are in the Brakebills lab and we have set up 3 mirrors to try and retrieve my daughter Harriet from Mirror Realm.
So, my character, she's become fragmented into 3 different people, 3 different versions of herself, really. So this scene, everybody's trying to figure out how to get back together to one solid piece.
So we're shooting this really complex scene where, you know, gotta draw this circle, you gotta build a prism, all these tutting, mirrors are there, sigils, blood's flying around, and gotta piece a person back together.
I love working with Olivia and Magana. They're so wonderful, and it's such a fun, like, I love the character pieces for me, like having those relationships.
The 3 of us have a really fantastic dynamic, and I love the dynamic between Alice and Zelda right now. It's really fun. And then once Harriet comes in, played by Marley Matlin, she's amazing. She's one of my favorite people we get to have on set, and she's always down to play. She's so hilarious, and she's one of my heroes, so today is like a dream come true for me. In the middle of this scene, Alice, as usual, gets a little bit ahead of herself and isn't paying attention, and she overdoes it and the prism ends up splitting her into 2.
Give that back to me right now.
No, I want to play with it.
Give it back!
There was so much dialogue, and it was just like chunks of dialogue with myself for page after page after page, and it was so confusing.
2 different kind of characters.
2 very different characters. I had 2 doubles. I had a stunt double and I had a body double, and they were great. You know, they had to mimic all my movements and all that kind of stuff, and it was really complex to shoot. But it all turned out great.
Can you give her just a round of applause? I know I'm the only one that's clapping right now, but everyone
It was hard, y'all.
It was incredible.
Okay, fine, I'll bite. What's the paper?
He's putting together this list, and Alice comes into his office, and, you know, he's trying to figure out if I should, you know, turn in people's names, you know, this sort of McCarthyism thing, or should he protect these potential hedge witches?
Alice and Dean Fogg have always had kind of a father-daughter relationship. I don't know, nobody's ever voiced it that way, but that's how I always approach it. They have each other's backs, and he always cares about her.
And it means so much in terms of, well, what is he going to do?
Because that's the thing that I think we both our characters struggle with, is that it's really hard to figure out what the least bad thing is. Zelda talks about that with Katie, and she trusts Katie in the end because she says, you'll find a way to hurt the least people. And that's what it's come down to, is that it's not about can we not kill people, but it's like, how do we keep it contained? How do we do the least damage?
I have faith you will make choices that hurt the fewest people.
Also, there is a palace coup underway.
It's so weird. Things in Fillory feel like they're on fast forward a lot of the time. It's like the stakes are so high all the time. Like the whole world could fall apart in a second, that you don't really have a lot of time to process. I think someone's gonna murder you, so let's get on this now.
Yeah.
I need a word with the guard.
Watching her, like, I just love her so much in real life that, like, watching her be so devastated, like, oh, all that work, all those notes I wrote in my script went out the back door because I just looked at her and I just started crying. I was crying on her close-ups when the camera wasn't even on my face. That was an intense
surprisingly intense. Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
You knocked it out of the park. I think it was a really amazing human moment. Only you would be able to spin it, like instead of killing Fen, who wants to kill me, I'm gonna let her rule here. And I just sort of roll with the punches. Powerful women. I'm sitting in between powerful women, and nothing I can say will ever change that.
Don't you forget it.
Action. You know what was funny though? The scene where they start making out in the bird cage and it gets very hot and heavy. But then when it was on my close-up, you know, they were off camera, so they weren't kissing anymore. So instead, they're both laying back like this, looking at me. And you weren't looking at me, but Summer was looking me straight in the eyes, like laughing quietly. And I'm supposed to be looking at them like, oh God. And all I see is my friend laughing.
You need to be watching some romance. We will look you right in the eyes and force you to laugh at us.
That was really intense.
Yeah.
Google the binder. 120 million hits.
No, I have no idea what information is in the binder. Something to do with Julia. I'm assuming her goddess powers. Yeah. Alice doesn't know what's in the binder at this point. Olivia's read the next episode. She has a hint.